A recent study that the CFPB published showed that banks charged about $15 billion in just overdraft fees and NSF fees alone. And that's not counting all the other types of fees that we see in banking. So this is big money.
The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau recently announced that it's going to be cracking down on junk fees, particularly late fees, which, as you know, if, let's say you overdraft your account by $3 or $4, you might get charged $35 as a penalty by banks. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, as you know, was started by Elizabeth Warren, and unfortunately she wasn't allowed to head it. And when the Trump administration took over, we saw people like Mick Mulvaney and just Republicans in general unleash a jihad against the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau because, we can't have institutions protecting Americans from entities like Chase Bank or Wells Fargo or, giant institutions that regularly take advantage of middle and lower class Americans.
There are a lot of junk fees out there in our economy, but so many of them are ones where you don't even get a service for paying it, or it didn't even cost a company anything to provide it to you.
A report by the Federal Reserve found that prior to the 1990s, credit card late fees generally only range from $5 to $10. But in 1996, the Supreme Court was like, you know what? We're going to make it so that banks that are based in like Delaware and South Dakota and places like that, y'all can do a little bit more of your own thing. And so after the ruling, credit card fees increased to 119% to over $27 in 2005. And in 2008, the highest fees neared $40. Whenever I get late fees or overdraft fees, it's typically a $34 charge. And the most messed up thing about it is it's not consistent. Sometimes I'll get charged, sometimes I won't. And so a couple of more stats is that the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found that credit card late fees peaked at $14 billion a year in 2019. And during COVID, they kind of laxed their laws. So their profits went down to $12 billion. They had to get a little more lenient. So they took a $2 billion plunge. You know what I'm saying? So overall, if the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau succeeds in their efforts, then they could potentially return $15 billion to customers of banks just from 2022 alone.
They're preying on the people who least can afford it.
About 10% of consumers pay about 90% of the overdraft fees out there.
And I'm glad I caught wind of this story because, we're in the middle of so much turmoil, so much stress right now, especially with the reversal of Roe v. Wade. That's just thrown everybody's lives, especially the lives of women, just in total chaos. And so it's easy to overlook just everything else that's going on. But the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is one of the best, in my opinion, institutions that's been created in modern times, and one that absolutely should be fought for. One that whose power should be increased so that entities like Chase Bank and Bank of America, who don't need additional money from poor people, can't rob and steal from poor people. It's pretty much more expensive to not have any money because of things like overdraft fees. Because if you're $1 short or $2 short, well, now you got a $40 charge. Now you got a $34 charge. So again, the CFPB is absolutely something that we need to keep our eyes on and something that we need to fight to strengthen.